All right, it is October in Edmonton. It's unseasonably warm here, and we're talking all about September's real estate market. What happened in Edmonton's real estate market in the month of September? Well, the market is still slow. It's definitely a lot slower than it was earlier this year, and we've seen a decline over the last few months. So in September, it was no surprise that the sales have gone down average month over month and year over year. And the amount of new listings coming on the market has also gone down from last month. But interestingly enough, there's more listings right now than there was last year. So what does that all mean? If there were less sales and more listings, well, that's right, it's a buyer's market. Because there's less demand, less sales, and there's more inventory, there is an ability for buyers to actually have a little bit more say. And something I've noticed is that sellers tend, right now, the ones that are still sitting on the market, that are on the market 70, 90, 100 and some plus days, these sellers are still hoping that the market is what it was earlier this spring. And so what's happening is they've been sitting on the market for a while, not able to sell. They have reduced their price, but we're doing what's called chasing the market. So as the market declines, you're chasing the market. You're going, okay, I'm finally ready to reduce my price. But now that you've reduced it, the market's actually already gone down again. So it's a very tricky number system. That's why you have to talk to a professional about what is the best number that you should be at. The way that we price homes is typically looking at the last 90 days of sales. And you know that the last 90 days of sales is not reflective of what is happening right now. So we have to also consider what's actively on the market and what is pending and figure all that out to figure out actually what the right price is. October, you can still sell your home. September, you still could have sold your home. People are still trying to make that move before Christmas and before the snow flies. We are finding some sellers who are not super motivated to sell, so those prices are just staying where they are. And though I say there's more listings than there was last year, it sure probably doesn't feel like it, because I know some of the buyers we're working with, we can't find anything to look at. So if you're thinking about selling your home, this is still a good time to consider. Maybe I should put my house on the market before it's Christmas and people are gonna be heavy into celebrations and parties and just not wanting to show their house. If you take a look at the average days on market, it has definitely gone up. We are back to what we saw pre-pandemic, which was an average in the 40s. And you can see over the last 12 months that the lowest amount from February to about May, they were always under 30 days. And then we started to inch back right up and into the 40s. So what does that mean for you as a seller? It means that things are taking longer, especially if it's not priced well, doesn't show well, and isn't marketed properly. If you have all those things for you, you can actually disregard that number, because those properties are still gonna sell quickly if you're priced well and you're marketing. Now, what is selling in Edmonton is no big surprise. We're still sitting at 300 to 500,000 as the average sale price in terms of the highest market distribution in sales. Over $1 million this year to date. We have had over 200 homes sell over $1 million in Edmonton. So to me, that always shows that the market is still strong in single family homes. People are still purchasing the homes higher. Now, this doesn't include new builds, of course. New builds, we've seen their prices jump up over $100,000 on average. So a house that you could have bought a year and a half ago at $400,000 is now at $500,000. And potentially even $550,000. So new build world was completely different. That it did affect the resale market for single family homes, because it made the demand increase on the single family resale area, and then it increased that price as well. Now, not as high as $100,000. We did see the average home price in Edmonton climb up to just over $500,000, and now we are sitting at just at $475,000 this month for the average single family home. If you take a look at the year to date, however, year to date, we're still 6%. We're still higher than we were last year in terms of the average price. We're still sitting just under $500,000. So we'll see how the year ends, because we still have October, November, and December to affect that number. And as we see the lower prices happening, we are gonna see that number come down quite a bit. Now, lower prices, does that mean buyers can just lowball and get the price that they want? And I know that some of you guys watching think that lowballing is a strategy. And while that may be a strategy, that's not how we approach things here. So market value is market value. You take a look at the market and you take a look at what has been selling, and that is fair market, what someone is willing to pay. Because at one point a buyer was willing to pay a lot of money for a house. Now if they're willing all to lowball, then eventually all the prices will come down. Now the reality is that if you own a home, you understand that your value is also dependent on what buyers are willing to pay. So you're not necessarily gonna just always have it low. You're gonna see value in the home, in the location, in the fixes and renovations that the seller has done. So then you're willing to pay a certain dollar for it. And also the location in the city is really important. So if it's a desirable area in the city, there's always gonna be value no matter what the market is. And you'll also always be able to maintain that equity. Home equity is really important as a homeowner because you take that amount that your house is now worth after living in it for 5-10 years, and you take that to maybe buy a new house, maybe you're gonna buy an investment property, maybe you're pulling it out to do some renovations on your property. There's a lot of benefits of getting home equity, and you can build home equity actually by renovating your property and staying in your home. A lot of people have forgotten that concept. So for buyers, if you're looking for a deal, that's a great opportunity for you to buy a home that actually needs some sweat equity. Now, we wanna make sure the house has good bones, because if you've got a cracked foundation or you've got poly B piping, it's gonna cost you so much more, and then you gotta make sure that that price is going to accommodate for the equity you're gonna gain and the value you're gonna gain on that property. So your odds of selling has drastically dropped from February. Take a look at the listing absorption rate over the last few months. You'll see the drastic drop and how we reverse. So you went from basically everything selling to now we're almost not selling we literally reversed the ratio. So that's why you really wanna make sure as a listing that you wanna make sure if you wanna sell it, to make sure it's priced properly and it shows well and it's showing the best it possibly can show. So what's happening in September is listings were still selling in Edmonton. Only about just under 16% of the listings were selling, and we're still seeing sales happen in October. Now, October notoriously is actually known to get even slower than September, and of course, November, December. January typically then starts to slowly pick up, and we start to see some traction slowly in February, and then March is when it really happens. So if you're thinking about selling next year, there are a lot of things you could do this year to kind of get your house ready, to kind of figure it out. Hey, is the market gonna be better next year, and by how much? I can go over the numbers based on your neighborhood specific area, what actually happens and trending. Now the interest rates are supposed to go up again 2 times in the next 4 months or 3 months. So by the end of the year, we're supposed to see 2 more increases. Now the time of filming, we have seen a slight increase in October, but not a massive one. And so we'll see if that impacts things. I know interest rates are affecting people, but when you look at the numbers, the higher interest rates and the lower prices, it's still actually pretty equal to when it was higher prices and low interest rates. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And of course, you know how to get a hold of me. We will talk next month and talk all about October's real estate market.